Hello.
I always
How
do
are
it.
you?
I always put the camera too close. Let me just push it
I
back
know, me
a little
too.
better. How are you doing? Okay.
I'm good, thanks. How are you,
Thank
hon?
you for joining me.
That's all right. Thanks for having me. I'm just going to turn up the volume.
So today is all about wedding planning, and
Yeah.
it's something that a lot of people don't really consider or think they don't need. Um, so I would like to just get straight into it. And can
hmm
you just tell us about Cocoa Blush events? When did you start? How did you begin? Tell me your journey. What drives you?
Okay. So Cocoa Blush Events is a wedding planning and event planning company founded by me. And I started last year officially. And I specialize in Mauritius destination weddings.
Okay.
So, which is like a fab side of the business to have.
Yeah.
I have been in events since, God, 2007.
Okay.
So it's quite a while, but I've been like in and around events. So I've worked on the side of like hotels. I've worked within a private events agency, and then on the side of being a client from an investment banking side of things. So I've
Okay.
worked on all kind of sides of it,
Mm.
and then kind of I after years and years of dithering about setting up my own business, decided to do it last year after I had planned my own wedding and fully enjoyed the whole thing, and just thought, you know what, if I don't do it now, I won't do it. And also kind of a couple of the suppliers kind of just labeled me as like a psycho organized bride, which they'd like never
Yeah.
seen a bride so
It's so
organized
nice though.
before.
When you do get brides who are organised, even from
Yeah,
a makeup artist's point of view, it's really refreshing because it
yeah,
makes
yeah,
everything just go so much easier with the
yeah,
brides which is doing.
definitely. Definitely. So I always think it's so funny. Like my photographer, who we're actually really good friends now, and I remember when he asked, it was my husband that was liaising with him, but then he asked him for like an itinerary, just a general itinerary of the day, just so they can get an idea of what's going on.
Hmm.
And literally, I think I'd listed it in like 5 minute increments as to
Oh,
what was happening, what photos I needed where, what time was sunset, where we needed to be, all this kind of stuff. And he was like, wow. So I was just like, obviously I took being called a psycho bride like a compliment. So
absolutely.
yeah,
It is a
so yeah,
compliment.
I decided to go ahead and just like, launch the business. But officially I launched last year in September. And yeah, it's like been nearly a year since I've launched, and I think what I'm trying to do is just
You've
bring
grown so
my
much
thing really.
considering half of that year we've been in lockdown.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
Everything's
really
expanded,
crazy.
everything looks amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it's been nearly a year, and I think what I'm trying to do is bring like a really refreshing vibe to the industry,
Yeah.
and just working really hard on like collaborations and just creating a bit of a like a fuss-free, non-fluffy approach to wedding planning, because it can be very like fluffy, but I'm just trying to be like quite practical, organized, and straightforward, and that's my approach. And I've got lots of exciting collaborations coming up, especially the collaboration that I've got coming up with Charon, which is really exciting, and
Mm-hmm.
then also some stuff going on with some Mauritius venues and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So really exciting.
Um, did you say you specialise in Mauritius book
Yeah.
destinations? Is that because you've got suppliers out there?
So I'm Mauritian.
What make? Oh,
Um,
okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm Mauritian and have been obsessed with it ever since I knew what the place was. And
Not
I've
surprising.
got such yeah,
It is
I've got
stunning.
such a love. Yeah, I've got such a love for the island, and I've always kind of taken to all of the like gorgeous hotels that they have there, and I know them quite well. I know the island quite well. So there's in terms of like getting married in Mauritius, some people would just think like okay, we'll get married on a beach, but it's not necessarily just beach weddings. There are so many amazing backdrops in Mauritius. There's like stunning botanical gardens. There are like mountainous backgrounds and backdrops, and like huge old like sugarcane plantation fields and stuff like that, where they've like
So
converted the
romantic.
mansion houses. Yeah, it's beautiful. So there's like so many different ways that you can set up a wedding in Mauritius. So it's got so much to give. And then obviously doubles up as a really great honeymoon destination, a
Yeah.
great holiday destination for the guests that are attending as well. So yeah.
Do you go to sort of one main place in Mauritius that's like your main area that you work with, or Do you like? Can the bride and groom just choose? Like, I'm looking at this place here, and
Yeah, so I mean, basically there's different, all of the different edges of the island basically have a different story to tell. So the south and the east are very untouched rural coastline, which is really
okay,
gorgeous. The beaches are so like, the sand is like fine flour. It's literally
oh,
gorgeous, and it's
I'll
it's
take
really
you
nice.
there.
However,
I want to
however
go.
the However, the like the it's a bit windier on that side, right? So it depends on what time you're having the wedding, or if you don't mind a little bit of a breeze. But it depends. If you're going like when it's really hot, you'll actually be welcoming that breeze quite a lot, especially in
Yeah.
like all the bridal makeup and gear and all that stuff. Um, the west coast of the island and the north of the island are quite touristic, so
Mm,
they're quite built up. They've got stunning hotels all around, so it just depends on what the couple are looking for. But there's
yeah.
something for everyone there for sure.
Is it that you've researched this heavily, or is this through your own experiences from your own travels back? Or have you gone specifically to research different hotels, different areas with the idea in mind of how is this going to fit with our brides?
Yeah, so it's a bit of both actually. So I've naturally understood the island from all of the years that I've been going there,
Mm,
and all the time that I've spent there. But then since I kind of knew that Mauritius was my niche and my specialism, I have really accelerated my research into
mm,
the different areas, and also been building those relationships with the hotels.
mm,
It's not something that's recent either. It was something that I was looking at years ago, because I've been interested to kind of back when I was younger. I was looking to potentially do a placement in Mauritius as a wedding planner in one of the hotels. So I did
mhm,
lots of research at that stage as
mm,
well. Um, so yeah, it's kind of an amalgamation of lots of different things. But most recently, I've had a few Mauritian suppliers reach out to me as a UK representative.
mhm,
So I've got some collaborations coming up with some really great venues where they're
mm.
looking for me to be that representation for them in the UK, because there's no other independent
Beautiful.
Mauritius destination wedding specialist. You'll get them through like tourist companies, tourism companies and travel agencies and stuff, but you don't have an independent wedding planner
Mm,
at the moment, and that is
mm.
me. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Amazing. It sounds so amazing and so glamorous. Um, and this might be a really basic question, but what do you actually do? Because I think a lot of people get really confused, and a lot of people
Yeah,
think they don't need you either, don't they? So,
yeah.
like a lot of brides can be quite anal, and a lot of brides are bridezillas. They're not called bridezillas for no reason. So
I was
people
on.
kind of think this is a expense that we could do without maybe. So
Yeah.
tell us what you do.
Okay, so a wedding planner is looks after literally A to Z of a wedding. We like, I offer a range of services, so I'll start there. So you might have couples that need some help literally with A to Z of
Mhm.
everything, or they might just need some reassurance from a professional but want to do the organisation generally themselves.
Mhm.
So there's a range of packages. You've got, full wedding planning, which is I will be with you from the minute that you guys get engaged and you decide to have a wedding planner to, on the day, and be there till like the finish line. And then you've got partial wedding planning, which is, you might want to do half of it, and then want a wedding planner to just pick up, because the months leading up to the wedding obviously get more stressful. The earlier months, when you've just got engaged, it's all the fun and games of, yeah, let's go and have a look at
Yeah.
venues, it's like, research. But then when everything starts to come together, it starts
So
to
what
get a
do
bit
you do?
stressful.
At that stage, do you
Mm-hmm.
sort of say, look, check these venues out, I recommend these, or how do you get involved with
in a
that side of things?
in a full wedding planning, yes, definitely we would, I would look at every single thing and make recommendations at every step of the way. Partial planning, it really truly depends on the couple, because they might already know in their hearts exactly what venue they want, and they might have already contacted them and said, they've booked their date in, and that's fine. They might have booked a couple of suppliers and then need me to pick up the rest and carry on. So it truly depends on the actual couples. So yeah, it just depends on what package they want, really. So then we've also got on the day coordination. and that would literally be from about 6 weeks before the wedding, pick up, you know, where everything is with the couple, and then take everything off of their hands, because obviously we want them to be as less stressed as possible, and let them enjoy kind of the rest of the days leading up to the wedding. If they need me to pick up another couple of suppliers last minute, if they like are in an emergency of some sort, then yeah, of course, happy to do that. And then it would be coordinating with the suppliers and getting them organized for the main day, and just getting them to know, like, you know, where everything needs to be, where everyone needs to be, what everyone's roles are, and just making sure that they're comfortable really with the plan for the day.
How do you communicate with the other suppliers in the lead up? Is it all by email, or so do you have a relationship already by the day? Everybody should know exactly who you are and what the plan is.
Yeah, so I mean, I would probably call the suppliers, you know, just introduce myself if I haven't met them before. It depends, again, what package it is. But generally, we would have a good relationship all the way up until, you know, the big day. And we would, you know, it's just however we're comfortable. Some, you know, I WhatsApp a lot of suppliers all the time. Like, we're always just, you know, talking about different inquiries and stuff like that. And then, you know, probably, you know, a couple of weeks beforehand or maybe a week beforehand, we'd have a bit of a briefing meeting, so that everyone knows what we're doing on the wedding day, so that everyone can just kind of, you know, get into their places and stuff. And I think that's like such a key thing in terms of building that relationship with the suppliers, so that you can work as a team seamlessly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, the kind of, you know, back to your question when you said, what do we exactly do? It's like literally everything A to Z, and it's for brides and grooms that kind of want the direction, don't really want to deal with weddings, you know, all the stress of the wedding. You know, you get some couples completely on different ends of the spectrum. You get some couples that are literally like, I don't want to touch anything, Sheleena, here's my budget, please just make it happen, just let me know when I need to turn up, what I need to do, and that's it. Like, please don't, you know, I don't need to know. But then you have some couples
you really get brides like that who are just
literally
like,
don't have the time. Yeah, because they're so busy. Like, you know, in this day and age, we've got so many of us.
You get like a mood board, right, or something.
Yeah. No, definitely. So you would consult them, but it wouldn't be like really fully involving them, like, you know, speaking to them like loads. It would literally be like, Sheleena, you go away and you work it out. This is kind of what we're looking for. Go away and work it out. Pull the suppliers together. Let us know what you've come up with, costings and all of that stuff. And, you know, we'd go back and forth in terms of negotiating the costings, negotiating what's included in, you know, the menus, etc. They would be choosing all of that stuff.
You take over that side of things as well, where you can discuss with the suppliers, okay, look, you know, this is the rate that they want to pay, and, you know, if it's not quite there, what you can do in terms of that. So you to the bride and groom, because a lot of people struggle with that, don't they?
It's really difficult to have those conversations, isn't it? Just as like,
but do you know what I mean? A lot of
people because you don't. Of course.
When you're doing it with each and every supplier, if you are on a budget, and to keep having those conversations, it can be really. If you've got somebody who's doing it from an experience point of view, they've already got a relationship, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's where it comes in. That's one of the benefits of having a planner, right? Because we've built that relationship with the suppliers, and we you know, we're always constantly working with each other, suppliers, you know, and planners. They work together really well. So we've got that relationship already, and we're comfortable to kind of have those uncomfortable conversations on the behalf of the clients, because, you know, for a client to go and say, no, this is too expensive, what can you do? It's not as easy as a planner saying, okay, do you know what, like, can we bring it down a little bit because of XYZ reason? And the suppliers will, you know, we're all creatives, we're all looking to do the best that we can for the couples anyway and create that vision. And everyone is in it because they want to create an amazing day for that couple. It's a win-win situation for us all. So, you know, the suppliers are definitely happy to try and be flexible where they can. And that's another benefit of having a planner, because we know ways that, you know, just little tips and tricks of how you can tweak something to save a little bit of money here so you can spend it here, like, you know. So
I think a lot of brides and grooms forget, like, this is what we do day in, day out. We deal with weddings, you know, so we know so well the things that can go wrong, the things that you can cut corners on, and the things that you really can't, and that you must try and skip.
Exactly. And it's all about giving those recommendations as well, because you might have, I don't know, like bride and groom might have a really wacky idea and be adamant that they want it, until they see the cost of it, and then they're like, oh, actually maybe I don't need that wacky idea anymore. So they just kind of like, I'd
Or
rather
even
spend that.
things, I guess, as well. Sometimes things just don't actually work out. Like, it sounds like a good idea, but when it
Yeah,
comes, it's like sometimes brides say to me, oh, can I have this look? And it'll be like this full blown out smoky eye, for example, but you know,
yeah,
she's got teeny tiny eyes, and okay, yes, it looks great on that picture, but actually in real life it may not be the most suited to your face shape and
yeah,
eye shape. So I mean,
exactly.
it's not exactly the
It's a
same,
skill
but
at the end of the day, isn't it? Like, it's what you guys do is so skillful. And you know, just every face is different in the same way that every client is different, right? So what looks good in a picture that a bride might bring to you, or you know, it
you've
might
got
not
to
look good
find how
on
it's going to
them.
work for them, so they can have
Yeah,
elements of that. But you know, but if they were by themselves and they didn't have
yeah,
you, for example,
yeah,
and they just ran with this idea,
yeah.
that's when you have issues that happen on the day. And this
On the
whole
day,
series is about avoiding those issues,
yeah,
full stop. So it's so apt that you're here.
yeah.
Because,
No,
I mean,
it's
this is
about,
what the whole series is about. And just
yeah,
having
yeah,
one of you on board
yeah,
can eliminate so much
yeah.
in terms
No, I
of that,
agree.
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, because it's about having that expertise, isn't it? Because that's what it's what we do. It's our craft, right? So it's the same way that you wouldn't try and like file taxes being self-employed without getting an accountant. It's that same kind of concept, because you need that expertise to help you navigate. Because, you know, as things are moving, things get more and more complicated, and it's just helpful to have that hand to just hold you along
Absolutely.
the way and
And
just give you
guide
that
you through it. And
advice.
it saves so much time as well, because you could spend days and hours and months. I mean, really, some people like even spend 2 years planning
Yeah,
their day.
yeah,
And it's really there's so much goes into it. But if you had
yeah,
somebody on board to
yeah,
kind of say, you know, let's avoid that, this is a good idea, let's start at this point, you're cutting out so many phone calls, so many
yeah,
emails, so much
yeah,
stress.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a good idea to
Agree.
have a wedding planner. um
It's,
okay, my next question is it the same as, oh yeah, are you the same as because some places have venue coordinators, don't they? And
oh
they
yeah,
have
I was going to
catering
touch on this when
events
you said,
managers.
yeah,
Yeah, so is
yeah,
that
yeah.
the
So
same?
actually,
I see these people kind of little badges, and they're running around. Sometimes I pass them when I'm leaving. So is that the
little
same
badges,
as
did
what
you
you do?
say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
So
little people. They're not little, but you know,
no,
I
no,
see
no. But I
people
know that
running
the little
around with little
badges. I know what you
badges.
mean. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. So so wedding planners, right? We are the helicopter view in a corporate term. I don't really like it in the corporate world, but it is what it is. We are the helicopter view of whatever's going on the day, right? So we would look after everything, but that doesn't mean that we're there to boss everyone around. That's not why we're there. I think we get labeled as that sometimes by, like, you
Who
know,
are those
different
people then
suppliers and stuff.
that are shouting orders at people as I'm leaving? I'm
Well,
like,
yeah, we're just trying, you know, we're just trying to
oh.
keep everyone together and, like, you know, in sync so that it goes seamlessly. You know, all it takes is for someone to be running 15 minutes late, and it's only 15 minutes late, but it only takes 15 minutes to unravel the rest of the day. So if you don't have somebody watching all of those suppliers and just seeing what's happening, because the planners will know how to pull it back, right? But one supplier might not know what the other supplier is doing. For example, you know, the decor might be running late in the main part of the venue, but the groom is already arriving for the morning ceremony, and it's like, but who's going to go tell the groom that the decor's not quite ready yet? There's not that, you know, umbrella view. So all the different suppliers are good at what they do. So you have, and it's a misconception.
Do you have a team then?
Yeah, so I would,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So there'd be like, I would be looking after the bride and groom, and then another team member would be looking after the immediate families, and then potentially another one would be looking after kind of everybody else. You kind of need like one person per 100 guests, basically, put it that way. So that's how big you'd need to build the team. It depends on how many guests are coming as well. But you know, each supplier is a master of their own craft. They're all great at doing their service. So, you know, venue coordinators, and this is a massive misconception that brides sometimes have or are told, unfortunately. You know, there's a venue coordinator. You don't need an event coordinator. You don't need a wedding planner. Just don't worry about it. But the venue coordinator is there to kind of make sure the doors are open on time, the loading bays are ready for the suppliers to come in, the lights don't go out, God forbid, you know, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The caterer is there to make sure that, you know, because there's an event manager with the catering company, but then they're there to make sure that the food is as it should taste, that it's out on time, that it's hot, that the servers are all in place when the food is ready to come out. That's what they're there to look after.
Okay.
You tell me, you're a makeup artist, right? So if you're unfortunately stuck in traffic somewhere and you can't get to the venue, which could happen at any point, right?
It always happen, yeah.
Yeah, it could always happen. Is the catering manager from the catering event manager gonna call you?
Contact the bride directly.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
would be my only point of contact, unless you had given me the number of a wedding planner.
Yeah, exactly. Or, you know, if the DJ has got the songs mixed up and isn't playing the right song for the groom or the bride to walk in, who's going to run over and say, actually, you're playing the wrong song? That's the wedding planning team, right? Because we're there to coordinate and just, you know, just sort out all of these little tiny things that could happen in the day. And we're there to kind of help all the suppliers to just be where they should be and do what they need to do. And it goes back to having that great relationship with the suppliers. Because if I can trust you as a supplier, then I'm not going to need to come and check on you, and I won't be seen as bossing you about. I'm not there to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to leave you to be the master of your craft and get through the day with me as a team, so we can at the end celebrate that it all went so amazingly well. So yeah, there is definitely a need for wedding planners and coordinators in the whole equation of the day. Definitely.
Do you help the bride come up with her itinerary and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. So so we create that timeline of events, and depending on what they've got going on during the day, if they've got, you know, if it's a Hindu ceremony in the morning, or sometimes, you know, the nikah might be in the morning and then have, you know, the reception walima in the evening. So there's loads of different things that could be happening, and then we've got, different things, entertainment, different concepts that we need to be bringing in. And, you know, even for one of my brides that was getting married, unfortunately she had to postpone. It was a Mauritius wedding that was meant to be in June. She's moved it to next year. But for her, she had so many different suppliers, and the itinerary isn't just a straight checklist of an itinerary. When you've got loads of different suppliers to factor in, my spreadsheet went like this, because I needed to like block out timings of where the photographer needed to be. And I saw actually the makeup artist was just on earlier. I'm not sure if she's still on, but it's by Aideen. She was on earlier, but yeah, so she, you know, it's like where the makeup artist would need to be at what time, you know, what time the bride was getting ready, what time the groom was getting ready, what time the photographer needed to be at these different places. So you end up building out an itinerary, which actually ends up being an itinerary per supplier.
Absolutely.
So for me, my spreadsheet's this big, but per supplier, they've got that one column, you know. So definitely, we help to build it out and help to make sense of it for the client
as well.
Sorry, say that again.
And then stick to it on the day as well.
Exactly. So we're running around with our clipboard.
You know, those kind of things do happen, and somebody is running 10-15 minutes late, or they don't arrive, or something breaks.
Yeah.
Can you do anything in those circumstances?
I mean, we do kind of work in the background with like a little bit of a magic wand, like fairies, just trying to work something out. And that's when you kind of run to a different supplier and say, okay, this bit ran late. What can we do to pull it back? You know, how can we switch this? You know, even if it's a question of, oh, I don't know, maybe the food is running late. So actually, let's cut the cake to start with. Instead of doing the cake after food, let's do the cake before, so that it kind of, you know, just distracts from the fact that the food hasn't come out yet, because we're doing like a big thing and all the guests are going to be like, oh, actually, you know, actually they're cutting the cake. So yeah, let's just, that's Charon. Yeah.
Just like fairies, she knows. She's in the business.
Yeah, she knows. She knows. Yeah, literally running around. Honestly, like, we need to have like Fitbits with us, or like, you know, step counters with us on the day, because the amount of steps that you clock up running a wedding is just crazy, especially if it's like across a big venue.
And the satisfaction is just, you can't match it. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, no, definitely.
It's an amazing feeling to be a part of someone's special day.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, you must have such a great reaction when, like, you finish the bride's makeup and she looks in the mirror and she's like, oh my God, like.
Not often, because then we're working so close up.
Yeah.
You don't appreciate it so much straight away. It's
Hmm.
usually when she's walked out the room and she comes back in, and I'm like, oh my God, you look
Really?
incredible. And she's like, thank you. It's down for you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, when you're just looking so close at something, you can't
Yeah.
appreciate the whole picture, because you know you work from section by section.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
hair, when you're doing the eyes, when you're doing everything. So it's actually when she goes away and she comes back, and you actually from a distance you kind of see it all come together, and you're just like, wow, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
there is nothing really as magical as a bride when
No,
she's all
100%.
done up. I mean, everybody wants to
It's
see.
just a transformation, isn't it? Like, it is amazing. And to be a
So
part of that journey as well, because, you know, as a wedding planner, you work so closely with the client and you understand this. You're not just a planner, you end up becoming like a counselor, an advisor, and everything, because, you know, they come to you because you're on like, an outside perspective, right? So when they're having struggles with their guest list and they're like, Sheleena, I don't even know what to do. Like, my parents are just arguing, I need to have these people. I don't want them there. I don't know them. I haven't seen them since I was like 2 years old. Like, you know, you just have to help them manage their emotions as well. And, you know, there's loads of emotions. It's not just, you know, families. It's also the bride and groom. They're getting married. It's like such a big change in their life, a massive chapter, a new chapter. It's exciting, it's scary, it's all of these different things. So not only are you having to be like really practical, you're having to be really like emotionally supportive, like all of these different things, and then to see it all through and then be there on the big day, everything goes really well. Such pride. And then, you know, seeing how happy they are at the end of the night, seeing the photos come out really great, it's just such an achievement. There really is nothing like it.
You really are there from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Whereas I might meet the bride, let's say, when we have our trial, if she has a trial.
Yeah.
Hi guys, have just joined us. Oh, sorry, this always happens when I try to share it. It always happens. Just my blinds.
That's right.
It's nothing exciting. Yeah. So, what was I saying? Yeah. So, but for me, yeah, I might meet her on the trial, and then if she has a trial, and then on the day, and then once she's ready, I'm like, oh gosh, you know, good luck, and that's it. I go, and often I get
it must be hard for you. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have the privilege of being there all the way through. Sometimes they do stay. Sometimes, sometimes if it's like a whole day wedding,
if they want touch-ups and stuff. Yeah.
Sometimes you build such a close relationship with your client anyway that they like literally beg you to, oh, please stay with us. You know, it won't be the same without you.
Have some food.
Have some food. But it all depends on like how the bookings are for the rest of that day. Anyway, but generally speaking, you don't stay. You kind of like finish off, take your photos, and then you go on to the next one.
Exactly.
You have like, an extremely privileged position to kind of be there from the beginning.
It really is an honor to be part of that journey, honestly, because you end up also becoming part of the family. So once the parents meet you, uncles, aunties, you know, all of that stuff, and then it just builds that relationship. And actually, it's not just planning their wedding. It ends up sometimes becoming, oh, actually, you know, I've had a child and they're now going to turn 1 and we want to do like a big birthday party. We want to do, or, you know, I'm pregnant. I want to do a gender reveal. I want to do a baby shower. I want to do all these things. So you end up becoming part of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So definitely it's such an ongoing journey.
At prom, I did their prom makeup and then, you know, doing their wedding makeup, and it's like, it gets
that's so sweet.
It moves on because obviously then, like you said, they have a baby shower and then they have the first birthday, etc. So you do become it is a special place to be. Okay, so let's say the bride and groom have contacted you. What happens next? What is the process?
Okay. So I mean,
do you invite them to meet them? What do you do?
I mean, so outside of COVID restrictions, we would have usually, you know, initially had, you know, just a quick chat over the phone to kind of look at, you know, their wedding details of what they have already. So how many guests are they looking at? What kind of locations are they looking at? You know, what numbers are they looking at as well? Sorry, did I say that? I meant dates. I'm distracted by your blinds. Sorry.
Sorry, I know. Every time I try to say hi to the guys. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. That's fine.
Sorry, apologies.
We'd have an initial conversation just to kind of look at the basics of their wedding and potentially what they might be looking for from a wedding planner and why they're looking for a wedding planner, really. So then we would have, you know, I'd quickly you know, have that conversation, and then work out my services really. And then we might have like a full-blown consultation before they want to sign up. We might want to talk through some ideas, you know, talk through my services in more depth. And you know, potential clients can contact me in like so many ways. There's like, you know, email, Instagram, phone. Also, like, you can book appointments with me directly through my Instagram on the book now button and through the website and stuff. So there's lots of different ways to get in touch. It's so easy now. And you know, we'd have that in-depth consultation and discuss all of the details and start to like throw some ideas around. And you know, once they have, you know, agreed kind of the package that I've put together for them in terms of my services, paid the deposit, then the fun starts, and that's when we start to do all of the full-blown mood boarding. We'll do the venue visits, we'll do the food tasting, cake tasting, you know, you do all of that stuff, all the research, and it's all a complete journey. And then you know, it is about regular touch bases, touch points. So depending on what kind of package they have, if it's full-blown wedding package, full planning, then it will be, you know, regular, potentially monthly catch-ups. They can contact me through, you know, the phone at any point. And you know, it's that unlimited consultation time. If it's, you know, partial planning or on the day, then it will be closer to the wedding day. But there will definitely be regular touch bases. And then obviously, as time gets, you know, as it gets closer to the wedding day, then we will speak in like loads of detail about what's going to happen on the day. And then obviously I'm there for the whole day, from like the minute that the venue's open to the minute that the venue is, you know, everything's kind of done. Usually
That's
with like
exhausting then, because sometimes you start at 5.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't finish till like 2, 3 in the morning. How do you manage your clients? Do you take, how do you manage it? Do you take, obviously you've got different clients, obviously you just can't book the same days. How do you give everybody that level of support? I mean, because it's a lot of support that you give.
Definitely, it's a lot of support. So I would not book more than one wedding on one day. I would not, because I can't be in 2 places at once, right? So you know, it depends. If it is like an all-day event like that, it'll probably be like 10 hours of me being there, because otherwise I think I'd just pass out at some point. You'll just find me like huddled up in a corner somewhere, just like sleeping, and just exhausted. But you know, usually you'd wait for like the whole event, you know, like after food, when everyone's kind of enjoying themselves, having a good dance and all that kind of stuff. You usually slip away at that point. You say your goodbyes and then just like slip away and let them enjoy the rest of the evening, because there's nothing more for you to do, because everything's done, right? Everything's running fine, and then it's literally just wrapping it all up, which we can kind of you know, leave to the venue coordinator to kind of look after, because it is just about, once everything is ready to, you know, once everyone's ready to leave, then they'll naturally leave.
So you don't stay right till the sort of
I think it
last,
depends on the
last
circumstances. Yeah, I think it depends on the circumstances. I wouldn't rule it out, and I wouldn't say no, like I'm leaving. It depends on what my clients need from me, really. If they're happy for me to like slip away, because, you know, it is a long day and us running around is really tiresome. Because obviously the couples, I mean, even the wedding planning team, like, we're all running on adrenaline. And even you probably, when you're doing the makeup and stuff, and you're there, like,
when
you're
you
literally
get in the car,
yeah.
It hits you, you think, oh my god, I'm exhausted, my back kills, actually I'm gonna fall asleep at the wheel, you know, that's when it hits you. But whilst I'm there 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, I'm like, how can you have so much energy? And I'm like, it's just me,
Natural.
you know,
it's the adrenaline, isn't it?
But
Once the adrenaline
once
is
you sit down in the car and you know, you relax and you think, oh gosh, actually that was quite exhausting.
No, definitely,
especially when you're doing client after client sometimes.
Or if you've got
or wedding season, because absolutely, it's, you know, it is just a rush. You know, it's just a rush of clients, and responsibilities, and it's a massive responsibility, somebody's bridal especially.
Definitely.
So you carry that as well, with you. But you know, with years of experience, it does get easier. I remember my very first bride. I remember sitting outside the hotel thinking, oh my god, can I even do this? This is her like special day. Oh my god, I'm gonna wreck it. You know, it's a big responsibility. A lot of times people say, you know, why is such a big difference between party makeup and you know, bridal? But there is so much more that comes along with a
Yeah.
bridal booking.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah,
anyway,
because those photos last a lifetime and they will always look back on those, right? So
exactly.
they'll
And
always
also, not being
remember.
funny, I might be a little bit biased, but you can have the most amazing venue, the most amazing food, the most amazing everything, but people are looking at your face, and people
Yeah.
are going to photograph your face. Like, even
Yeah.
if, you know, your dress gets something spilt on, they're still going to be looking at your face. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that needs to be,
Yeah.
it's, I don't know, I feel like it's the most important thing. I mean, as long as you look good, right? You look good and you feel good, it carries so much more confidence.
Confidence, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you
definitely.
can
It
be in
helps
a
the brides to
field,
enjoy
but if
their
you
day.
look amazing in a field, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I'm with you on that.
I know, like I said, a little bit biased. Let's see, what else have we got to ask? Oh, which kind of couples are most suited to your somebody's put, I look at the cake.
Yeah, it is
Cake
also
is
about the
pretty
cake.
important.
Yeah,
Cake
yeah.
is pretty important.
Cake is
Um,
always important.
um, or which kind of couples are most suited to your services? So is it better for like a certain type of couple, it works better for the service, or is it something that
Um,
everybody needs?
I would say it's not one size fits all, really. There's not one like particular couple that would like need a wedding planner more than another, or benefit from a wedding planner more than another. As I was saying before, like there's like couples at different ends of the spectrum, right? So you've got some couples that would literally want your help from like the start, and then you've got some that would want to get involved with like absolutely everything but still want you because you're the professional, and they want the reassurance of that professional. Or there's some that literally want to do everything and they're like, I just need you to just see it through on the day, and I just
Or
need you
just
to.
do you have the same suppliers as well? Do you use the same suppliers
Oh
each
no,
time?
so
Or...
no. So we kind of, I know like a network of suppliers in, there's so many different types of suppliers, even with makeup, right? So you've got
Absolutely.
makeup artists that do like really full glam looks, you've got some that do soft looks, you've got some that do natural, you've got some that do, there's so many different
Yeah,
kinds of
or
suppliers, which
specialise in
caters,
certain hairstyles.
yeah,
You know, there's so many. Everyone's got
types
their
of
menu.
looks. Yeah, exactly, 100%. And it's very signature to that makeup artist, in the same way that every caterer has a signature style. So you might have a caterer that's like full blown, will do proper table service, really great weighted service, and they're really meticulous with everything that they do, and like they're very 7-course meal kind of people, right? But then you've got some that are pop-up kitchens that will work from like a really cool like converted
Yeah,
van
quirky.
outside. It depends on what kind of what kind of vibe they've got. So it depends, that's the kind of supplier that they are, right? Everyone's got their niche. So in the same way, it's best to know, like we have to know all these different suppliers for what they do and what they're best at. Because when we have a client that's like got a really special kind of theme or a very niche kind of theme, we would know actually, yeah, that supplier would be better. Like whilst we're talking to the clients through the consultations, us wedding planners are literally calculating in our head, actually that caterer would be good, that decor company would be good, that cake person would be good, that makeup artist would be good. So we're already pulling all of this jigsaw together, so it helps to know more suppliers.
Sorry, from a client point of view, how will they
Yeah,
know which wedding planner to pick? Because like you said, everybody's got their sort of niche, and everybody's
yeah,
got their kind of idea, an
yeah,
idea of how that they're going to run things, or how it's going to look, or how
yeah,
how they're going to do it. But with a
yeah.
wedding planner, what's your advice on how they would pick that person?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say all the wedding planners also have their different styles of working, right? So I'd say kind of check out their websites, check out their Instagrams to get a vibe of like, what kind of weddings that they are passionate about. Because you want to find a planner that's passionate about your kind of wedding. Although we can create like everything, obviously you've got some that are like modern luxury kind of planners, you've got some that are like luxury lavish kind of planners, you've got some that are very boho kind of planners. So it's all about
You think there's
finding
like look for a theme in the
a kind of theme.
event they've
Yeah,
done?
yeah, like and then also kind of read up about them, read their information that they give you, because it's such a personal service, right, having a planner, and it's a very personal relationship. And like something that really resonated with me was one of my recent consultations where actually she's my client now, but she had said, like, you know, she'd spoken to a few wedding planners and they just didn't quite resonate with her as I did, because when we had a conversation, it was like having a conversation with a friend.
Yeah.
And you kind of
And that's what you
naturally
want.
click with people, and
Really.
that's what you want, because it's such a personal relationship.
Mm.
And it was an easy decision for them because they just really enjoyed the basic, like the first conversation that we had, and they'd kind of already decided at that point that actually pretty much they were going to go with me.
Yeah.
So it makes a massive difference to have that conversation. So not only look at the socials and the meet, like, you know, the marketing side of things, but definitely phone them, have a conversation, and just see what they're like, and you know, that kind of stuff. And if their passion comes through for you for your kind of wedding and stuff like that, then, and you know, if you have that that connection, then you're onto a good one, I think.
Do you also plan like you know, like cake tasting and
Yep.
trials and all of those? So basically all the admin side of preparing a wedding,
Yep.
you would help out with
Basically.
all that as well.
Yep. So we would coordinate all of that. So all of the appointments, all of the visits, all of the tastings, all of that stuff, we would coordinate that. The couples can feel free to go on their own if they don't want me to go with them. I can go with them to help advise. I can go with them to help those conversations with the supplier if they, you know, if I've got a really good relationship. So yeah, we definitely do all of kind of like the booking the stuff in the diary. It's like having a PA for your wedding.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else yeah, how do they get in touch with you? So I think you mentioned before the best thing to do.
Yeah. So I mean, I've got obviously on my Instagram, I've got kind of, you know, my phone number. You can send me a DM, you can email me, but also there's the button to book a consultation. You can book that in directly with me. It just kind of takes you to a calendar and you just select your slot. And then also, you know, via my website, there's also the box that you fill in and stuff. So there's lots of different ways. It's far too easy now to get in touch with people, isn't it? Like there's so many ways. At the touch of a button, you're already like in contact with somebody.
A lot of suppliers, they don't like to be contacted in certain ways. So this are actually only email or only whatever.
No.
So I just wondering in that respect.
No. Yeah, so I'm happy to take inquiries from whichever avenue they come from, really, because, you know, some people, they just don't have time to maybe like click out of Instagram, go onto your website, fill out the form, like, you know, so different things work for different people.
I'm the same. I take bookings however you contact me.
Yeah.
But I have seen like quite a few suppliers, and it does make sense actually, because sometimes it is easier to track when all your inquiries are coming through one place. Because sometimes I'm like, okay, right now I've checked this, now I've got to check this, and sometimes things, you know. Right, I think that's it. Oh, actually, what is the sort of price points as well, so that people need to kind of consider? What so not maybe specifically yours, but in general, what is like a good rate?
It's difficult to say, to be honest with you, Sophia, because and I'll tell you why.
A percentage of the like each supplier, or how does it work?
No, so okay, so you might get different, so wedding planners charge in different ways. There's two different ways of charging. You can either charge as a percentage of your client's budget. So whatever the client's budget is, then it's like a percentage of that, depending on what that wedding planner will set. Or they might have a fixed fee. I generally work on a fixed fee, purely because I don't, personally, I'm not comfortable with, you know, just because a client's budget is bigger means that I get a bigger fee. You know, I'm fixed fee for what I do.
If the budget is bigger, do you sometimes think it's a bit more work as well, because it's got,
it depends on the amount of work. Yeah, if I need to factor in certain things, like say for example it's a huge wedding, and as I said, I need like one person probably for about per 100. If I need to employ people to come and like coordinate for me, with me on that day, if I need additional team members, then that will have to get factored in additionally to my costings, right? So there's certain things that will get on top, like paid on top, so travel and expenses and stuff. For example, if it's a destination wedding, you know, that my travel and expenses will be on top of my fee. if the wedding is like a gazillion miles away from London, you know, my travel and potentially having to stay over will be additional to my fee. So, you know, planners charge in different ways, but again, it really depends on what the couple are looking for, because you might have an on the day coordination package, but then they might want some additional bits that take up like way more hours than the on the day coordination package should take of your time. So then you need to factor that in, because, you know, you need to get paid for the time that you work, right? So that will add on, because they're asking for additional tasks, that will add on to the fee. You know, it takes on average, well, apparently, like it was 250 hours to plan a wedding.
Wow.
So yeah, so I think I worked it out. I think it's like working 7 weeks straight, pretty much, without focusing on anything else. You're pretty much working on this person's wedding. So think about, you know, when you've got more than one client that you're working on, you know, as much as we like to let the couple feel like they're your only client, they're unfortunately not your only client. This is your business. You've got you know, you've got other clients, you've got other work you're doing and stuff, and not only are you working on the business, you're working in the business. So you've got to do so many different things. You are everything. So, you know, your time, if they're looking for additional stuff, if it's a huge wedding, that might incur extra costs because of the extra time it takes, not necessarily because it's a big wedding, if that makes sense. Because you can potentially plan a big wedding, but it might be really simple and straightforward, because the couple already know exactly what caterer, decor, venue. You don't need to spend all that time doing that research for them. So it's so many moving parts, but generally, you know, I charge fixed fee, and then it's dependent on what the client are looking for.
Okay, and finally, can you think of one top tip, at the top of your, from the top of your head, that you would give to your potential client, or one piece of advice before they look for, or now during Corona as well, COVID, or however you want to say.
I mean, I would say, particularly to COVID, you know, obviously it's a really difficult time at the minute. The industry is, you know, we're all kind of, you know, suffering from, you know, COVID. But next year is going to be super, super, super crazy. Like, I have struggled with availability for my clients for next year, because venues are getting booked up. Like, they're pretty much already booked up, and a lot of venues are looking into 2022 now, which isn't even normal. Like, they wouldn't sell dates on that early, like 2 years in advance.
Yeah.
So I would say to clients, like, you know, don't let what's happening now affect your wedding plans. Like, still plan your wedding. There are ways to plan your wedding. There are different ways around everything. So continue with your ideas, continue contacting your suppliers.
Do you think it's worth starting to, so if you are looking to plan a wedding for 2022, do you think it's worth getting in touch now?
Yes, 100%. I would say too. Yeah, because I think for all of those couples that couldn't cram into next year, they're going to trickle over into 2022. So we're going to end up with the same problem again. So, you know, definitely I'd say start planning now.
Enjoy yourselves planning.
Yeah,
right.
for sure.
Thank you so much, Sheleena, for joining me. It's been an absolute
Thank you for having
pleasure.
me. Oh God, where has 50 minutes gone?
I know. Do you know, it always goes so quickly. It just flies by. But it's been really, really informative, and I really appreciate your time this evening. And thank you to all our audience that joined us. And that's it. That's it from us.
Yeah. Thanks, Sophia. Yeah, okay. See you later. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining.
If you get in touch with Sheleena, you can just, I'll put her in, I'll leave the link to your Instagram.
Yeah. Please feel free to get in touch and ask me any questions. I'm happy to answer. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to advise. So please, get in touch.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.